take a few seconds and wait to. So I'm assuming we're live here now. Hello, BookTube, and I have a guest.
Hello.
And so far, nobody's here, but it could change quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, I am with Sean in Bedford.
And you've seen the pile upstairs, haven't you, already?
Yeah, it's going to be an adventure tomorrow when we get stuck in. Very cool. And well, I'll be doing it with Heather as well, which and I've not met her before, so that'd be really cool. But yeah, we'll get stuck in. It'll be cool.
Yeah, and I don't know where Mark is. He said he was going to be available for this, but he hasn't. He has not saw my message yet, so he's probably sleeping.
What a letdown. Hi, Aaron. Got Aaron there.
Yeah, just a second. I'm going to put this on vibrate so they don't get. Oh, Aaron's back. Yeah, hi, Aaron. Yeah, so it's late. I don't think I've ever done a live this late. You have. You've done a few.
Yeah, I just start waking up around now. Well, and just partly because I often fall asleep about 6 o'clock as soon as I get in from work.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey, Jenny.
You're back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I say, we're going to do a marathon live stream of discussing what science fiction is.
He doesn't want to do that because in half an hour I'll be like, you pack up your own boxes and I'll be out. I got my cup of tea, which is cool. Yeah, it was cool. It was good. The train took me through kind of down the Thames, so I saw lots of different. It was like every kind of bridge possible. It was like Tower Bridge, London Bridge, Blackfriars Bridge. There's all the different stops for all the bridges.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I was reading, and then I look up, and I think, oh, that's quite pretty, and then almost missed my stop. When I was watching the live stream earlier, I nearly missed my stop. I had to change twice, so that wasn't too bad.
Hi, Gola. Everybody's back.
Yeah. They just had a break. They went and had something to eat, come back for the live stream. I think Sean's already said he's going to do a live stream every few hours for the next few months.
Oh, jeez. that would be very tiring. Because, yeah, I had a little snooze in order to be awake now. That's the thing before you came, because I was actually snoozing when you rang the doorbell, and that's probably why.
What's going? Who's this going to be this time of night? Yeah. Well, I didn't come straight here. I walked down the road a little bit. I had to get some milk because I have to have tea.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I use long life milk.
Hiya.
Hi.
Yeah.
To Lindy.
Yeah, I have short life milk. Because I probably have a short life.
You read that, you're closer.
Yeah, I do that on the bus all the time. Yeah, nothing worse than looking up and seeing your stop going past. Yeah, absolutely. Books shouldn't be that interesting, should they? You should make them really boring so that you don't miss your stop.
I did that actually once, coming back from Bristol. I went on a day trip to Bristol from here,
right?
For silent film, and when I came back. I think got on the wrong train, but it would have been okay if I got off at a stop, but I was reading and I missed that stop, so I had to go an hour further that way and then wait 3 hours for another train to come back. So that was a very, very long day.
There's a thing that I always saw every single time I took the train back to Portsmouth after going to London for a gig or something. You'd always get people, like, you get the last train back. Yeah, because it was a gig, you don't want to miss it. So you get the last train back, and every single time you'd see people lying asleep on the on the train, and you just think they are not going to get off the right stop. And they'd always be there at Portsmouth Harbour, which is the last stop, because there's 3 train stations in Portsmouth. There's Fratton, Portsmouth City Centre, and Portsmouth and Southsea, which is the harbour. And Portsmouth Southsea and Portsmouth Harbour, isn't it? And Portsmouth Harbour is always the last one. So it's clearly right next to the sea, so that's clearly going to be the last one. And so many times, if I decided to go off there, there'd be tons of people go, what? And then they'd be turfed off, and they'd be like, oh, I'm supposed to get off at Bedhampton or Havant or something. Yeah, so don't fall asleep on the train. That's the moral of my Fascinating story.
However, I did know, I stayed in a room of an elderly couple who had a son who would go to Spain free because he would drink a bottle of whiskey and pour it over himself and then go to sleep on the train.
No one want to touch him.
Yeah, they did not want to touch a drunk, and the problems. So he would always but he'd have to get his parents to pay him to get him back. But he would always get to Spain free, apparently.
Where there's a will, there's a way. That's brilliant.
I forgot all about that. But that was hilarious.
So yeah, you can get a lot of success in your life if you look drunk. That's another moral. We're all given these great mantras for life.
Yeah. Or just be a drunk. And
write great literature.
And Cat Ballou.
Cat Ballou. Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin's character. That's got to be one of the best scenes in cinema with the horse against the building.
Well, did Lee Marvin drink a lot? And didn't he have a problem?
He might have. Yeah, I don't know too much.
I might have assumed.
A lot of them did.
I always memorize the train. I always memorize the train schedule so that I can set an alarm for getting off at my stop. That's a good shout. Yeah, that Jenny's clever. So another thing you can do, guys, to make sure you're okay is go on a train with Jenny because Jenny knows what she's doing. So it's 3 different things you can do to get far in life. Douse yourself with whiskey.
Yeah.
Or follow Jenny around.
That was days before the the express to go across to Paris, I think, on the tunnel. So I don't know. They might have changed that.
I haven't done that yet. I've
No,
never been on the Channel Tunnel.
I keep I can't do it now, but when I was working, I was thinking, I could leave here. I could walk up. You know how close it is here.
Yeah.
Like just minutes. I could walk up there in the morning, and by noon I could be having lunch in Paris. That's freaky.
That is mad, isn't it? I'll tell you what was nice, actually, because I didn't know. This is the first time I visited Sean, and Sean gave me the address, and you said it's near the station. I thought, that's cool. I'm sure I might even just find it. I have my moments of wisdom, absolutely, yeah. Hi, Al. Exactly, yeah. And anyway, yeah. So he told me the address. He said it was near the station. So I got off the station and I thought, well, I won't necessarily phone him up because it would be quite nice to knock on his door. I mean, I didn't know you'd be asleep.
Yeah.
But I won't phone him up. I'll just have a look and maybe I could do the Google search thing if I need it, Google Maps or something. But I had a look at what the name of the road was and I thought, and then there was a couple of signs by the station and it literally said the name of the road. It's literally this road. I stopped. Well, there we go. That's easy. And it's like about 5 doors away from the.
Well, the weird thing is too, because my room is the window is just above the front door, or one of my windows. And on Google Maps, if you zoom in on most of the pictures that are there, you can see books. You can see books through the window.
And everyone's like, that's Sean's. He's got quite a lot of books. It's got to be said.
Everybody saying hello to everybody.
But when I saw his books in the room, I contained myself and I didn't think, yeah, see you later. I didn't go. I was like, yeah, I can do this.
Well, it's changed from we were gonna box books up in the boxes upstairs and bring the boxes down, but they're too heavy. They're too heavy, so they're going to be brought down in bags, like shopping bags, and then packed down here. So that's the easiest way.
So Aaron's been through the Channel Tunnel. He says, I went through the Channel Tunnel on a school trip to France and Belgium. Awesome. When I was 14. It's not much to speak of from what I remember. Yeah, but it's still an adventure. And because I didn't want to catch a coach today. The coach journey would have been 7 hours. 7 hours on a coach. Really, and there was a train strike today. So I thought I might have had to get a coach. And if it was 7 hours, I was probably going to send you a message going, I'm going to go the next week. But anyway, it was fine. But 7 hours on a coach. And then my wife sometimes goes to Belgium. And it's like a crazy, 8 or 9 hours on a coach or something crazy like that to Belgium. Which is not bad considering it's Belgium. And she said, well, you wouldn't want to do that, would you? And I said, well, it's different. You're going to Belgium, you know, going to Bedford. You shouldn't have to sit on a coach for 7 hours. But yeah.
Well, I went to, what's that?
Yeah, Al says, wish I was there. We wish you were here too. Portland, it's far away.
What's the place just outside of London that's posh? It's got the cathedral. There's a Roman site there. I can't think of the name of it now. It's in between.
No, it's not near London.
No, north of London, in this direction, south of Luton. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, I had to do I had to see a physiotherapist there for an insurance thing. So I had to go there, and there was a time when they were stealing copper wires and stuff. So they did that, and there was no train. The train wasn't working, so it was a coach, and it took me 5 hours to get from there to here. That was horrible.
Is that Salisbury or Winchester?
No, it's north of
cathedrals.
It's north. I just can't think of the name.
Thanks, Al.
Oh, Mark's here.
Is Mark's here? He's not here, but he's here.
Yeah.
He's not here. Unless he's here.
Mark's woken up.
Colchester? What's the place that's north of London, south of Luton, that has a cathedral, has a Roman site there?
St. Albans.
St. Albans.
That's why we called you. You can go now. Thanks.
All right. Yeah. I also came on because I just heard, because I left it on, and I drifted off because you said at past or something. So I put it on and I was like, yeah, okay, it's right. I was half asleep, still half asleep. And then in my mind, I'm hearing I've never been on the Channel Tunnel, and I'm thinking I've been on the channel. Oh shit, they started.
You thought you were dreaming about us.
Yeah, I've been on the Channel Tunnel a few times, and I've done even Prague to London by bus. Yeah, that's a long one.
It's 10:30 here.
So 11:30 for Mark.
Oh, yeah. 11:30.
Yeah. So yeah, Aaron. It was St. Albans. I was thinking Canterbury's a little too south. It's got a good bookshop in Canterbury, at least one.
It's my direction, Canterbury.
Yes, he is. He looks very
look.
See, I normally start getting a second wind around now. I was saying to Sean, I often fall asleep when I get in from work anyway, and then wake up sort of 10 o'clock or something, and then I'm all right until 2, 3.
Oh, we're up at 4:30 every day, Elvis and I. So.
Oh, really? I'm up at about 7:30, so.
It's light here at 4:45, so. In the summer. Yeah, so.
Alan needs to always talk, comment on the hair.
Yeah. He's flirting with you again. You're looking beautiful.
Yeah.
No, all I need to do is take the ponytail off, and then I can do the space.
Yeah, you never do that, do you?
I have occasionally, yeah.
I'll do it when he's asleep tonight.
Shave it off.
Well, that's a big fundraiser.
And some marker pen on his forehead. No more books.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? You'll be like, what the hell have you done? It's like, well, I want to leave my mark.
The thing is, I would never be asleep enough for that to happen, because when I sleep these days, I hear what's going on. I'm conscious of what's happening around me most of the time.
At least you know you can run away, though, Gareth.
Well, it sounds like me and Heaven need to pin him down. Did you mention your Friday reads? No. So
yeah, so we'll do that. Yeah,
let's do about that. So what have I just finished? Oh, actually, there's a review of it coming up on my channel on Sunday. So I just finished Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, which I was actually disappointed by. So I was shocked because I like everything I read by her, but I didn't like. Well, I didn't like it, but I didn't love it. And now I've started reading Hiromi Kawakami's Mr. Nakamo's thrift shop, which is not quite as mad as the last one I read by her, and it's all right. I think I'll end up thinking it's all right.
I've never read anything by Becky Chambers either. I do want to read that. I thought it was just 2 books, but there's 4 now.
Yeah, there's 4 in the Wayfarer stuff.
That was actually my choice, the first one for the science fiction book club that we.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I can say that now because it's not happening.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think the first one's worth reading to see what everyone's talking about, and it, you know, you might not like it or you might like it. My favorite one's the second one, but obviously, if you like it, you read more of it.
Yeah.
But I think it's worth reading it because everyone talks about it.
Yeah, because there was in about 2016, I read some newer stuff, and I had heard of that, and I thought, oh, I'd like to read that, and then I completely forgot about it. And then when I was doing a Desert Island books thing, that came up. I go, wait a minute, that sounds familiar. And then all of a sudden, I realized that's who it was.
Well, I think she gets talked about because it's so different. You know, like usually science fiction, you know, even like people like Alistair Reynolds have got people that you can compare them to, and you know, like great writers have still got other great writers that's similar, and she's just different, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's
I know she's got a big reputation. So
yeah.
My choice is the one we're going to read in November, Gareth. So
what are you going to read in November?
With you.
Yeah, I can't remember. What were we reading?
Say Nothing of the Dog. Oh my God. So now I've been left here alone. Jesus Christ. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Sean's channel. Looks like they're coming back now though. I'm assuming it was me that was left alone. Oh, yeah,
hello, back again.
I'm not sure what happened there. It just it left the studio. We left the studio.
Yeah, no, To Say Nothing of the Dog. I'm really looking forward to reading that. It's supposed to be a bit funnier than the first one. I really like the first one though. Have you read the first one?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the bit about the cow at the end.
Yeah,
I gotta read. I might join you, but I'll have to reread the first one. I've not read the second one.
You don't need to, Sean. They're not. They're not.
They're not.
Well, still, I might as well.
I think you'll like it. Yeah, Jenny, that's the thing that I do think it's a bit of a misleading term because it gets called that, and I think it gets called that sometimes in a derogatory way because things do happen, but it's not an action thing. It's just relationships change. So it's like it's all science fiction, despite what the Outlaw bookseller says. It is science fiction. He cracks me up, but it's about the relationship, so like how aliens are trying to work out their differences and stuff like that, rather than like a war doing it. They'll be like reaching an understanding through conversation. So that's why she's different.
Well, I guess you could call Simak then, I guess, by that term, cozy science fiction, because he's not hard science fiction. He doesn't dwell on science. It's more on relationships between people and humans. You know, it's ideas.
I think she gets called it because there's not a lot of conflict.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the conflict is quite light, but it's still very interesting.
What's that say? I can't read it.
It says, Mark, you've usurped alive.
Oh, yeah.
And then Alice says, I shouldn't miss out the haha. So I'll read it again. Mark, you've usurped alive. That's what Jenny was going for. And then Al says, happens on our Monday Night Live show too. What, that Mark takes over? Mark takes over the...
Yeah, I pop in every week and kick them all out and take over.
He's too tired to actually usurp us properly. You haven't got the energy, have you?
No.
But it looks like Elvis does. He's pulling the strings there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think he thought when I got up, I think he thought we were going out. I'm like, I don't think so, mate.
Do you take them for night walks?
No, not well. I'm not up this late, am I? So we usually not.
No.
But it's full of drunks already outside. You know, walking down the street because
there's quite a few out there.
Yeah, that's why you're in this room rather than the front room, because it's noisy in the front room.
Yeah.
You know, it just they scream, and they seem to when there's two arguing, they seem to want to stop just below my window and argue.
The first couple I saw when I got off the train, genuinely, I was worried. I was watching, thinking it looks like he's going to hit her, and I was like, "Oh, this is not the first thing I want to see when I go to Bedford." But it looked like it was fine.
It says something, doesn't it? I mean, you come from Portsmouth, and Bedford is scary.
yeah. Well, not my part of Portsmouth. My part of Portsmouth.
All right.
What's this? Well, yeah. I remember doing your show with Greg out, and yeah, you were nipping off all the time. So yeah, it does happen. It's hard, isn't it? It's a Wi-Fi thing, isn't it?
Yeah, mine isn't always the best here, and this tablet is just so slow. Like you say, like you click that, but then by the time somebody else's comment comes up, it takes their comment for some reason.
Well, I hope if you have any money left over after the move, you'll have enough to get yourself a monitor and finally be able to use your computer. So
that would be nice. Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, I got to get moved first. Because yeah, the TV's going to get packed up and put in too, so I'll be using this, and that's why I think I'm going to continue with the Prime, just even though it's an extra cost, but I won't have my DVDs and Blu-rays to watch, so I'll need something, and that's where I've been watching the British B films. I've been watching British B films.
Right. Any well-known actors in British B films?
Yeah, a few occasionally. They're kind of fun. There was one with Gordon Jackson that I thought was quite good. Death Goes to School, right. And that was fun.
Using tons of stuff. Right?
Yeah,
professionals.
And Upstairs Downstairs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, before we did that, it was lots of. He's quite young.
But I mean, I guess they can be British. You know, they can still be well-known actors. They're not B actors, but in B films.
Yeah. Well, the quickie are I always say it wrong. The quota quickies that were started. It was basically there was the law saying that a certain percentage of films played had to be British, so they just made stuff quickly. It was just to fill the quota.
Yeah, but also actors are going to start in these kind of things and then get famous. So I quite like it when you discover, like there's an old role from someone you didn't realize that they were in those, that film or whatever, that series.
And there's British noirs as well, where they would bring over an actor, like a kind of famous American actor, and they'd be in the British film, and it would be a film noir. And they're not great, but they are fun too. Like they're kind of interesting. So you got these American actors playing in the 50s British films. It's like even what's the Dr. Quatermass. The first films, the black and white ones, is the American Brian Donlevy is Quatermass, which is kind of weird.
So Al's gonna get a Chromebook next month.
See, I clicked that, didn't I? And it's just not doing it.
Yeah.
So yeah, Chromebook. And I was thinking that. Oh yeah, Will Hayes. Yeah, Will Hayes, kind of funny with the glasses and the school teacher. But he's always has these. He's got this.
He always has Charles Hawtrey with him.
Yeah. There's the older guy and then the younger one. I can't remember their names, but yeah.
There used to be a Christmas tradition, but it seems to have gone now. And I think it's because there's so many channels around. But but I think it was the BBC channels used to have a really cool thing at Christmas that like in early morning or sometimes late at night, they have like a season of like black and white films.
Oh, okay.
And they just like decide to do that year. They'll do a bunch of Will Hay ones or a bunch of Jacques Tati films or a bunch of Harold Lloyd films, or it would be like just an unusual thing that Marx Brothers come up sometimes as well. And it was just really cool that it was like they made a decision to program that stuff in because it was Christmas and they thought people were off, but they don't really do that.
I mean, Channel 4 used to be very good at that as well. Like in the 80s and 90s, like would have always some kind of old films on. like either in the morning
Yeah.
or like an afternoon film.
Yeah.
Well, they think they had a Saturday. Was it Thames Television? Was it Channel 4? Thames Television then. They had the silent film thing that Kevin Brownlow did, and the music was always done by Carl Davis, and they were really, really good. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like Will Hay, but there's another guy that he's a really short guy that was funny. He wore glasses too. I can't think of his name, but I really like his film. I don't like the other guy. Yeah, that's really helpful with my brain. See, this thing, I can't think of the names. There's this one stubby little guy that was really popular. And I didn't really care for him.
English?
Yeah, there was.
Charlie Gray?
No. You keep as soon as I hear the name, I'll know it.
But he had glasses.
Well, no, I think he wore glasses occasionally, but no, he didn't. The skinny short guy did.
I don't know if Arthur.
Arthur Askey is the one I like. Arthur Askey is the one I like.
Is that one of the ones you were trying to think of?
Yeah.
Was he short?
Arthur Askey is the one I like. He's quite small.
Is he? I don't know, because I've always thought when I saw him on like stage, I think that's it.
Oh, okay. I always thought he was.
I never saw him on stage.
On stage?
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm like a Highlander.
Yeah. But no, it's the other guy that was definitely short, and he's really big, and I can't think of his name either. But
is it Jeanette Cranky?
I don't know who that is.
What's her name? What's her actual character name? I just think it's amazing that's one of the
Jimmy Cranky.
Jimmy Cranky. You know, remember Jimmy Cranky?
I don't
he used
think
to
so.
say
No.
"Fan no." Maybe it was before you moved down here.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
It
was a comedy act between this guy and his wife, and she dressed up. She was this little short woman who dressed up as a schoolboy, and I don't know. They've been married for a long time, and she dresses up as a schoolboy a lot. It's kind of a strange relationship, it seems.
Norman Wisdom, yeah. I never
Norman
cared
Wisdom.
for him. He was so huge, but I never cared for Norman. Aaron's always on point. He always gets it. He's in my brain.
Got that completely wrong. I mean, to me,
I like George.
Arthur Askey was supremely annoying, and Norman Wisdom was much better, in my opinion.
See, I found it the other way with thing, and then there's the other guy that used to dress up as an old woman. That was a huge number of films. They are really what?
Alistair Sim used to dress up as an old woman.
Oh yeah, no, but he didn't do a whole series as this. And actually, there's I think one of the last films he did. Oh, Old Mother Riley. That's it. And then one of the last films is Meets the Vampire, and it's not Boris, Bela.
Uh-huh.
That's Bela Lugosi. Spaminator's here.
Oh yeah.
Does anyone know the Spaminator's real name?
Do we know Spaminator's real name?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I reckon the Spaminator's probably got some kind of he's probably Brian or Dave or Eric. Yeah, something like really ordinary.
Like do it like that.
Maybe he's someone that we know really well, and it's just an extra account they've made so that they can be a little bit more cheeky.
It's amazing how well I can multitask. Whoa!
Master or Overlord. That's what Jenny reckons. I love it.
All those films are. I just love all that old stuff. Even the Norman Wisdom ones, I'll watch them, but I found them a bit annoying. But yeah, George Formby, I kind of like. It took me a while to get used to him. I'm washing windows.
I'm not a big fan.
Do you like Jack Tati?
I like some of his stuff. I don't know his films as well as I should, and that's one thing that
Jack Tati, the French sort of mime artist.
Yeah, it's like I gave up on non-English language films a long time ago because the usual thing that
he was non-language, let alone
yeah. But this is how I explain European sound films, where you got a scene in an office, and the secretary comes in, and the boss has started having sex with the secretary on the desk. The camera pans over to the doorway. A donkey walks in. Then they pan back to them having sex. They look at the donkey and continue. Then they pan back to the donkey. The donkey walks out backwards. That's how I explain European sound film, and it works to a large extent for a certain period of time. But there's so much other stuff, and I'm starting to get into that a little now. That's in 2020 when I was at home, and I didn't have to take taxis to work. I was saving 200 and some pounds a month. I spent it on books, and you saw the Blu-rays.
Yeah.
And that's what I bought. Was a lot of Blu-rays, and
a lot of those Blu-rays are.
I noticed the Blu-rays weren't up for grabs, though, were they?
No, they're not.
Yeah, so you watch a lot of films with people having sex with donkeys.
I bet you used to love those 1970s confession films, Gareth. With
the 1970s.
Yeah, with Robin Asquith.
Oh, Robin Asquith.
Confessions of a Window Cleaner.
Confessions of a Window Plumber.
Driving instructor as well, I think.
Yeah. They don't get shown anymore. I think they're probably a little bit dated.
They used to be shown like fairly late at night on, I think, like Channel 4 again. They used to show.
They're kind of carry-on films, aren't they? Basically,
they're just carry-on films with a little bit of proper nudity, but you know.
Yeah. You don't actually get nudity in carry-on.
They used to have again, like well-known people in them. Like I think John Le Mesurier was in one of them, probably. I think, and what's his name? Bill Maynard used to be in them. I think he was like.
Well, he lived just over here, just not too far away from where I am. His house is on the street just over here on the other. Yeah, I think it does actually.
Gareth can go and take a selfie in front of it. Here's John Le Mesurier.
Yeah, Bill Maynard and John Lee. It's not quite the same Peter Ustinov or something, though. So.
Well, I do remember though. I found it quite funny. Do you remember the magazine back in the 90s called Loaded?
Yeah.
I was at school with that, boarding school. Yeah. So boarding school used to pull out the pictures of the girls, stick them on the wall like I was in prison or something. But I remember they had an interview with Robin Asquith, and they were talking to him, and they said like, what was one of the weirdest things that happened to you while filming? And he said, oh yeah, well, I'm getting it on with this girl, filming a kind of love scene or whatever. And he says, just trying to get into the mood, getting into it. And then suddenly in walk a load of stormtroopers and like some kind of other creatures. And he said, they were filming Star Wars on the next stage, right? So this crappy film in one stage, and the next stage over is Star Wars. So
brilliant.
Yeah. So 2 crappy films filming at the same time.
I'll ignore that. We're all good.
What is he saying?
So Aaron's got a suggestion for spamming his name. I think it's quite a nice suggestion. Gladstone Hamburger III Esquire. It could well be. And then the Almighty On says, "Good evening, folks."
Good evening.
Good evening. Or good night. There's a lot of terrible stuff out there, isn't there, that you could just switch your brain off and enjoy if it gets shown. And you think,
if because you do this Garb August thing, right? I think with Historathon, they started doing these side quests where you could like watch a historical film. With Garb August, it's made for a side quest of crappy film. I mean, imagine all the crappy British films alone you could watch to fill Garb August up.
It's definitely just made a really good point. So Stephanie's appeared, and she's just said that every time she comes on, you guys, not me, you guys are talking about erotic, naughty stuff. I don't think she's talking about me.
Well, you just come on at the lucky times, I think, Stephanie. It's either that or genital, selling or what
genital selling.
Yeah, it was, the people who collect genitals. No, people who collect genitals, and There's a whole collection, black market out there. Mark has a whole collection in jars. Oh, yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
have to say though, Stephanie, don't flatter yourself, because we're talking about erotic stuff 24/7. So it just whoever walks in, we're always going to be doing it.
So Jenny says, eventually,
Maybe you have to hit it again.
almost good morning from Mark.
Yeah, in like 9 minutes.
Nicole's here.
Hello, Nicole.
Guten Abend.
And Al says, hey, Stephanie. And Al says, the Spamlady's real name, oh, here we go. Oh, is. Yeah, we
see. It's not me.
We read it 10 minutes ago. I hope it looks okay. Clint.
Yeah.
Is that deliberate? Is he deliberately doing that? So it could be.
Well, the Clint Eastwood, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. If he's trying to be really naughty, then.
Aaron, there he is.
Aaron, hold on. Oh, yeah. Stanley says Aaron is on point again. Sean is right. I'm pressing this. This could be, I can definitely defend this idea that it takes ages. Aaron is on point again.
Grandparents do something with technology.
Same number of syllables anyway. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. And then Stephanie says, "Don't flatter myself."
How do you know? You don't know that she emphasizes the myself part.
And then Leo Martin Orm says, "A black market for the dark arts. The jokes write themselves." Yeah. Oh, here we go. Nicole's replied to you.
Thanks, Mark. You too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's like I never got around to watching Billy the Kid meet Dracula because I was going to do that like as a connection to my Dracula reading and the June on the Range.
Yeah, side quest idea is good, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that would have been nice, but I never got around to I remember watching it as a kid, but I just thought it would have been a hoot to watch again because it was like John Carradine. The quote I think on Wikipedia says, I've made some bad movies, but that one was really bad, or something like that.
So John Carradine talking about westerns. The Long Riders is really good, isn't it? Have you seen The Long Riders?
Yeah, I must have. Yeah,
it's the one with loads of families. So Stacey Keach is in it with his brother.
Okay, yeah.
About 3 Carradines in it. Christopher Guest is in it with his brother.
So yeah, that'd be John Carradine, the younger, not the old John Carradine.
Yeah.
The Kung Fu.
Keith Carradine and
Grasshopper.
Yeah.
Grasshopper.
Yeah.
Oh, that would not go over today now though. Him playing,
No,
that would not go. I don't know if they'd ever play that now. It'd probably get banned.
Well, what happens is because in general, but you get these odd cable channels that play stuff that the other channels aren't playing. That is like really old-fashioned stuff like that, and you might get something like that. And you do get stuff like Will Hay on those channels as well. I can't remember what some of them are called. But yeah, there are a few things like that.
I was surprised because I've started using Disney Plus.
All right.
When you watch some of these old things, it's kind of annoying. I have to say, I wish you could like turn it off if you've got, because you have to set like your age restriction stuff, right? So obviously I have it turned off so in which case I feel I don't need to have this stuff. But they put on like a sensitivity warning.
Oh yeah.
Which I kind of don't, but I don't like being forced through it, especially as it takes like, obviously people are slow readers. People are really slow readers, so it's like 30 seconds or something, and you can't skip it.
It's in the film itself.
It's on the no, it's on the screen. Disney sticks it on there, right? So even if you're I don't know, watching some old Disney film for kids, it comes up and it says, some of the views expressed in this are from like another time, or people used to smoke a lot in this time. It's unhealthy, whatever. I was thinking, the fuck, I want to see the film. I don't care. I don't care about any of this. I watched it all
Yeah,
before. It turned out all right, you know.
The one thing with the Disney Plus with the Muppets, because I'm a big Muppet fan, obviously.
They have
but I was
all
really
the series on there.
They
have all the Muppet shows.
Yeah, they've got all of them on there. There's 2 missing. There's 2 episodes missing, and they didn't ban anything that was a little bit insensitive or out of date. They put warnings before the episodes, which I'm happy with. So before the episodes, they do that.
This is what I'm talking about. These warnings.
No, but it's before the episode, so it doesn't interfere with the episode.
They put it on before it starts. It's like a blue screen.
Yeah. But
this annoys me.
Well, the way that I see it, it's an alternative to them just not putting them on at all, right? Because the 2 that they've not put on, the 2 episodes they've not put on, one is the Brooke Shields one, which is basically Alice in Wonderland, and I reckon they just couldn't get the rights to it, right? Which is fine if it's a rights thing. And the other one is the one that Chris Langham was the guest, and he ended up being a convicted paedophile. So I think
that's
probably why that was not on there. But all the others are on there. I think that's really cool. So like, there's a warning before the Johnny Cash one, and I think Johnny Cash has got the big Confederate flag behind him.
That's it. I watched Kenny Rogers' one, and it pops up and it says some insensitivities, and like immediately a load of Muppet Arabs come running into the boiler room.
Yeah. Do you want to read that? So Almighty Om says, I love that idea. Movie and book tie-ins. I love movies before books, it seems. I love to complain about the bad adaptations. Yeah. I think it's a really fascinating thing about adaptations, you know, like, when they're done differently, let's say good or bad, it's just really interesting, isn't it? And they're always getting remade, aren't they? Cockneys versus Zombies from 2012 is a good choice of a side quest in Garb August. Yeah.
Cockneys versus Zombies.
Well, and there's now a film of Pride and Prejudice versus Zombies, isn't there?
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I've seen that. That is hilarious.
Yeah, someone should beat that for Garb August, because that was a novel first, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The actual Zombies version was a novel first. Obviously, we know Pride and Prejudice was a novel first.
Yeah, well, I saw that first because you mentioned FOP, and that's where I first saw that was in FOP.
Oh, really?
In Cambridge, yeah.
Yeah, because you said, Mark, that when I mentioned that, you said you hadn't heard of it. And FOP is owned by HMV, so it's kind of like what you'd expect from an HMV, like with records and DVDs. Yeah, but fantastic prices. And the book selection is ridiculous. If you go into one of the bigger FOPs especially, you get so much, like racks and racks.
What? How long has it been around?
Oh, it's been around for a while.
At least a decade, if not more. That I
yeah, at least, yeah.
I've been gone 11 years, so there's no reason I'd know it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a really cool thing to find if you can. Chat needs to be careful. If anyone guesses my name wrong 3 times, they turn into a pill of spam. I think it's Steve. Almighty Om, substitute. Actually, he can't be, can he? Because he appears on Steve's stream.
Yeah.
Almighty Om, substitute the baked beans for spam.
Has Steve got?
Spam. We go into perfect territory. Yeah. If you talk about beans and spam, you can have like egg, spam, beans and spam, and egg.
Spam. Is Steve on a stream now? Is he? Is that what you're saying? Or?
No. I'm just making the comment about spam later. He can't be Steve because he does comment on Steve's stream,
and Steve's not that adept.
Yeah. But yeah. Can I just say about the spam sketch that the reason why it's genius is every single part of that sketch is absolute lunacy. There's no reason why they come from the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
There's no reason why there's Vikings in it. The reading of the menu is ridiculous. He keeps screaming, "I hate spam," and there's no sense at all in it.
That's why
it's
I like,
amazing.
I like Chapman as general coming in and going, "This is nonsense," and it is.
Yeah, I think that was. I usually, because I'm a bit of a Python geek, and I usually know who wrote all of them. And I'm pretty sure the spam one's written by Jones and Palin. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was written by Chapman, because Chapman did write some crazy stuff.
What's Aaron saying there?
So Aaron says those warning irritate me as it treats everybody like children. Oh no, absolutely. No, I am with Mark on that in general, but there was talk of them just not showing them at all on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and I would take it that way, but I still think we should be allowed to hit an X or something to move it along. Life's too short. You know.
Yeah, or if you said you're an adult already for the thing, then they just don't show it.
Yeah, you have a what's the word? A code for watching it as an adult.
So a white middle-aged man code that just don't give a shit. Well,
Brandy says hi, and 3 of my favorite guys. That's cool.
We should probably sing
today. No way.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Brandy. Happy birthday to you. Cheers. Awesome. That's a lot of beans.
I'd love it if she had left by the time.
I reckon Brandy was probably singing along. I think as soon as we started, she was like, "Yes, I'm going to sing." I reckon we've got quite a lot catching up to do. I think. Yeah.
Well, I tell you that the 3 tenors.
Oh, that's my. You probably heard that on the speaker.
It probably didn't come from the speaker. I heard it. That was monstrous, but I don't think it came from the speaker.
Reckon, Gareth?
What's that?
You can replace the 3 tenors.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. I tell you what, this is just a little irritation that I had. So I worked and managed for a while a record shop that specialised in classical music and jazz. So that was a big chunk of my life actually before I became a teacher. And the amount of times I heard Pavarotti being played through the speakers, and the amount of times he was out of tune, he went out of tune. So everyone's gone on about what an amazing voice he was, but he couldn't sing in tune. Can I just say this again? He couldn't sing in tune. Bullshit. Anyway, carry on. I'll calm down now. Placido Domingo was better. Anyway, they're dead now. Jenny, I was probably offended someone by saying that, haven't I? Jenny says,
"Hey, Brandy. Don't worry about it."
Nicole says, "Hey, Brandy." And actually, Jose Carreras was good, wasn't he?
The other one.
He was the young one. The
you watch Seinfeld, Gareth? I know Sean hates it.
Yeah, no, I like Seinfeld. I didn't used to watch a lot of it, but every time I watched it, I used to enjoy the total pointlessness of it, and the fact that they'd be just.
There's a Seinfeld episode where Elaine is dating this guy, and he's like an orchestra conductor, but he's like it's like a really minor orchestra, but he insists on being called the maestro, and she destroys his signed photo of Jose Carreras. But the problem is, none of them can remember him. They know Pavarotti, they know Domingo, they just refer to him as the other one. And she meets him and she says, You're the other one. Can you sign this picture?
And actually, to be fair, even though it was the 3 tenor stuff sold like mad, his stuff didn't sell. His solo, like a solo, the ones that had his name on it, didn't sell anywhere near like the other 2 did. So sometimes an opera that had him in it might sell because the conductor was known for that particular version of it, but the ones that were like a recital from him or something that was like a compilation of his stuff didn't sell nowhere near like Domingo and Pavarotti.
He was just he was like a Spanish version of Kenneth Connor.
But he could sing in tune. So yeah, I'll cheer for the Zombies. Yeah, we're going back to Pride and Prejudice here because we're moving on, aren't we? But these guys have probably written this 10 minutes ago. So hey, Nicole from Brandy. I've read Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. Does that count as having read an Austen? Yeah, of course it does. Because I think that was the original version, wasn't it? And then they took the zombies out. It was too.
It's probably better than Jane Austen. I'm sure. I'm gonna when I get to that, I am going through Jane Austen. I'm gonna have to read that side by side and compare them.
Yeah. Do a comparison of the original version and the version without zombies. Yeah.
I think there's a good chance that zombie Jane Austen herself will be back by the time you go through them all, though.
That'd be awesome. Nicole says, don't we all, adults included, fail to realise
To shut
to shut?
out things that are bad for us.
Yeah, so we need the unskippable information of what manner of bad things and ancient things we might encounter. Yeah, I mean, it's a debate, and it's not going to go away. But I'm just glad it didn't ban it completely. Really, it's that was the thing I kept hearing they were going to do. They said they weren't going to show many of the Muppet episodes. So, and then just as a little extra thing about that, they released the first 3 seasons on DVD, and they'd never released 4 and 5.
Oh.
So when they decided to put them all on Disney Plus, I was like, "Oh my god, I finally got access again to 4 and 5." Because I used to have them on VHS videos.
Yeah, I was watching Harry Belafonte one as well the other day.
Oh, that was such an amazing episode. The last moment is quite a big thing for our family. The Turn the World Around sketch.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's such a beautiful song. And yeah, it's just a big thing for my kids because I used to force them to watch it all the time. So they've grown to love it. You guys have such fun chats. Glad that you're feeling well, Sean. Is Gareth helping you move? Yeah, I'm helping Sean to move. Someone else coming in to move the books, but I'm helping Sean to move. So I'm picking him up, taking him to different rooms, and then
giving him a sponge bath.
You like getting tickled, don't you?
Cut the toenails.
Yeah, but I used my teeth.
We should have a warning before this chat.
Yeah, trigger warning.
She says, I love the Muppets. They need to put the warning for the 2 grumpy old men. Oh,
yeah, there you go.
This is a massive spoiler, but this is a chance for me to talk about how great the Electric Mayhem series is that they've just done. They've just done this series on Disney Plus, Electric Mayhem, and there's a Statler and Waldorf cameo at the end.
Oh, is it?
It was amazing. Yeah, so they did a really cool final episode. And you're like, oh, this is lovely, very heartwarming, very smiley, and then they appear at the end and boom, it's just brilliant. Yeah, it's so good. It's not quite as crazy as the old Electric Mayhem, but it's a really good series. It's very funny. And then Nicole says, I think they based that warning decision from the fact that those pictures on cigarette boxes totally work. Yeah, they're trying to make them as disgusting as possible. Yeah. I'm thinking like, I don't care. Yeah, it's true.
When I used to like smoke cigarettes, like these ones, and they put the pictures on them, and I used to just go to my local shop, and I'd be like, oh no, I don't want that one, thanks. And then I just had this agreement that they would never give me any ones with bad pictures on it, because I said this excuse. I said, I work in a school. If it falls out of my pocket, it might cause psychological damage or something like that. So please make sure there's like an inoffensive picture. And they were like, yeah,
so. That's good. Yeah, I like that. That's very clever. With this, I don't want to go on a massive rant about this, but I'll just quickly say that there was some law. I don't know what the details are, but there was some thing they were going to do to this extra tax or something they were going to do on sugary foods to tackle obesity.
Yeah.
Right. And it really, 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 can I say, pisses me off. It really pisses me off because to be medically obese is absolutely nonsense. You can be quite skinny and still be medically obese. The actual level is ridiculous. So to say there's an obesity problem just means there are people walking around normal shape. And it just annoys me that they're bringing in laws because there's a problem when it probably isn't a problem.
A lot of sports people, depending on the sport, a lot of really fit rugby players would be technically obese, right?
Yeah.
According to their BMI, but it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's absolute nonsense. I mean, clearly there are some people that are bigger than others, but
I don't. I couldn't even name 2 of them.
But what the doctors say is absolute bollocks. And it annoys me.
You see, I don't know. Like, if you put tax on sugary stuff, will it solve the problem? Has it really reduced smoking? You put high tax on cigarettes, people still do it.
Yeah. But I just think the reason why doing it is wrong anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, regardless of, we know that cigarettes are bad for you, and that's fair enough. But the reason that's behind it is silly. So, yeah. Just thought I'd say that. Brandy says, Spaminator, I'm guessing your name is Chester. We got lots of suggestions for Spaminator's name. I started that, didn't I? Have you ever talked about that before?
Which?
Spaminator's name.
I don't think so. No.
But
then the only Chester that I remember is from Penthouse. It was called Chester the Molester. Little cartoons.
He'd love that. Assuming it's a he, could be a she.
Well, there was like an old comedy person back years ago called Charlie Chester.
Yeah.
Sure of it. And then when I was a kid, it used to be a kind of rhyming slang. It was Charlie Chester, child molester. You know, they used to shout out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he was. He probably wasn't. It's just that the name kind of went with it. So when people went through it, I don't know. But yeah, it always stuck in my head.
And what he says, theatre of the absurd in the spam sketch. That is great. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Every single element of that sketch.
We must be really behind.
Yeah. That's true. We need to do this quicker, don't we? I apologize.
That must be from our singing.
Oh yes, that must be from the singing because that's what happened.
I can't read it.
Okay, Sean, that's book Forest. I showed that to my wife and told her not to ever complain about having too many books ever again. Yeah, absolutely. I think loads of people probably had that as a good weapon, isn't it? You go, well, at least it's not like that.
Thanks, Bobby Lee Buford.
Absolutely. And then we got some happy birthdays from school. Nicole says happy birthday. Brady says thanks. Jenny says happy birthday.
Well, it's not Brandy's birthday anymore over here, so I don't have to take part.
Well, you did though. You can't resist the song.
Was it 12 minutes ago? I thought it was still before midnight. No. Oh well.
Oh, here we go. I was right. Thanks, Almighty Om. I like the fact that I get 50 points for that.
I can't.
It was spam sketch was Terry Jones and Michael Palin, who are my favourite writers. I love Terry Jones so much. He's so underrated. Sadly, he's not with us now, is he? It was really cool actually. I went to see Michael Palin in the Portsmouth King's Theatre. He was doing a show about the Erebus book he was doing about the explorer, and it was really nice because he knew that everyone was a Python fan in the audience. He talked about the fact that he visited Terry Jones because he was like heavily had dementia at the time, and it's just a really lovely moment where he said that he showed a picture of them together, sort of waving at the camera, and Terry was kind of smiling, and he said that, you know, I went to see him, and he was in a good way that day, and he sort of sends you his love, and it's just really nice. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that was a Terry Jones fan would have loved that.
Well, yeah, and I remember another time he was talking about that he would go to see him, and he didn't remember who Michael Palin was, but then he'd play something like there'd be one of the skits, and he'd remember the skits.
Brilliant.
He'd remember the skits.
Like every sperm is sacred or something like that.
He probably said, I remember now. He's a very naughty boy.
Yeah.
But you see, that's the weird thing. I mean, I don't know much about dementia and Alzheimer's and this stuff, but like, obviously, if it's the experiences you have are formulated by your life, in some respects, it's probably not too bad to be somebody from like Monty Python, is it? If you're stuck, if you're stuck with these memories of funny things and all this funny stuff and joyous stuff that's been in your head, it's probably better than if you're like stuck with some kind of combat trauma from your years in Vietnam or whatever. I mean, yeah.
But it's also, if you think about it, that's probably also a reason why families visiting people suffering from dementia is better than just being looked after by a nurse, because the family can think about things that they could remember that they experienced with them themselves. And nurses might not know some of that stuff, isn't it? So I think that's kind of an
Eugene. I think that's what. That's a good name for his family.
Oh yeah, Eugene. Eugene. Eugene sounds like trouble, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, Brandy. Al says Graham Chapman's underrated. Really, really underrated. He was a lunatic. He's famously did the sketch where he wrestled himself, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
The one man wrestle, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Well, like at his funeral, like John Cleese he did the dead parrot sketch, sort of with John Cleese in the coffin, and he sort of ends it, goes, if this offends you, then good, because Graham Chapman always wanted to offend people. So it was like brilliant.
Hey, don't you need a nurse's outfit? Jenny wants us to wear a nurse's outfit.
Well, I think that's for you giving Shawn his sponge bath.
Oh, Jesus.
He asked me to wear it as well. It was filthy. The night is young. Aaron says, when I first heard about Pride and Prejudice and zombies, it reminded me of Terry Pratchett once saying that he wrote as a teenager a crossover Lord of the Rings and Pride and Prejudice. Cool, I'd like to read that. He's probably just said he did it and then it's like lost to the four winds, isn't it? But that would have been cool. We love Terry Pratchett. Aaron says, apparently there was a scene where orcs burst into the house during a ball. Brilliant. Yeah, Jenny's saying, did he ever release it?
Well, if it's around, they would. You'd think now, because the estate.
Yeah. You can't keep anything once. Yeah, if he said I don't want it released, it doesn't matter when someone dies, isn't it? Is it late? Depends what kind of personality you got. Because it is late in the day, because it's England, so it's 11:15. But for me personally, this is when I start waking up. Although Brandy told me we have lots of chats, and she said that I always look tired in my videos. So, yeah, I take that as a compliment. I don't take that as a compliment. Jenny said, sleep is for the weak. Yeah. Was it Warren Zevon said, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Oh, he's dead now. So he's sleeping. You're off again.
No, it's ever since my COVID, my gut does that. Like it's like thunder here at times.
It happened while I was washing him.
So it was while you were changing him, at least.
Stephanie says, can we all agree that Jimmy Fallon's goodbye to late night with the Muppets singing The Wait was just I have not seen that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I have not seen that. I need to. Oh, Stephanie, you've just told me something that I need to investigate immediately. I don't like the fact there's any Muppet material I haven't seen, so I will watch that. That's cool. I imagine Jimmy Fallon loved that because he usually just watches his guests do whatever they're doing and just laughs next to them.
Are there Muppet bloopers?
I tell you what, they used to do a thing where because the puppeteers are genuinely funny, aren't they, themselves? And they used to do, like, in the credits of some of the films, they'd have them doing the bloopers, like they make these extra jokes and stuff. And there's a really good one of Jim and Frank as Kermit and Fuzzy in an outtake from the first film, and they just kept filming, and they were just saying stuff that was really funny. If you can catch that on YouTube, I don't know what it's called, but that's a really cool clip. And they're just sort of making jokes about, them being puppets. Aaron says also things like the sugar tax always hits the poorest. Absolutely hits the poorest hardest. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Randy says, hi, Jenny, or smiling at Jenny. Oh, I've just done something. Jenny says, I'll never forgive the sugar tax for the abomination that is the new recipe for iron brew. I've never had iron brew.
I never had either.
Oh, I have a few times. I lived, I was at university in Scotland. But Jenny, does that mean that the original isn't available? Or, I mean, they should do the same with this as they should do with the TV shows. You should just have the right to opt in or opt out of this crap.
Yeah.
If all this stuff bothers you, you can be allowed to opt into a little streaming service bubble and life bubble where you can go through life with all these warnings and all this stuff. It doesn't bother you at all. You can go to a different supermarket or a different movie theater and just enjoy it.
Sounds like a dog snoring. I don't begin to, while you were talking, saying that really, you were saying that really cool things, Mark. A different part of Sean's body was speaking.
Okay. He's probably hungry. Have you guys eaten?
I haven't eaten yet, actually. No. I had to make my own cup of tea as well. But Talking about Iron Brew, so reminds me of Dr. Pepper for some reason, and I had Dr. Pepper once, and I'm still not really over it. They say, what's the worst that can happen? I love the fact that advertising company, what's the worst that can happen? Is that the best you can say to advertise your awful drink? What's the worst that can happen? Why don't you just say it's nice? You can't, can you? Because it's horrible. Nicole says, it's 14 past midnight. It's 14 past, so that's an extra. That's weird, isn't it? It's not a full hour. It's just.
Well, no, because that was 14. That was. 10
oh, yeah, it's
ago.
true. Yeah, so he's clever.
7 minutes ago.
It was ages ago. Aaron says, my dad has issues with low sugar blood levels and used to drink Iron Brew to deal with it. He wasn't best pleased when he changed. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. Ooh. Brandy, Jenny says, Brandy, you don't need to worry about my spelling. My boss insists on calling me Jennifer despite knowing I don't like it. Okay, we can't call her Jennifer. And then Brandy says, the image of giving Shawn the SpongeBob as a nurse outfit is stuck in my head. There we go. That's a gift for you. Enjoy that. If you want, Brandy, I'll send you a photo of me in a nurse outfit, and then it'll be more real for you.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow on Canva.
Yeah.
That's that. What's it? What's that artist that you can ask for any image and he does it? Jim will paint it.
Not yeah, Jim will paint it.
Yeah, Jim will paint it, doesn't he? He does that, and you can give him anything, and then he put So, yeah, that could be the thumbnail for this.
Yeah,
this stream. I used to spam. I used to like the Monty Python spam skit in Steve's videos. I used to link that. I used to link that Monty Python spam skit in Steve's videos, but just kept ignoring it. Some people are so uncultured.
I love but the Spaminator is obviously very cultured. As he's going for the Italian version of Monty Python. Yeah. Monty Python.
Randy, it's only a true nightmare if we throw in Mark giving him a foot massage at the same time while wearing a cat suit with ears. And maybe Mark just gets really excited and starts nibbling on his toes as well.
Oh. I'm off.
Yeah, so we're saying this. Sean's just getting excited. I recognize that sound. He's just getting excited. Wow. Can you hear that?
I heard that one.
That was wow. Jenny says, what about a tail?
No tail, it got stolen by collectors.
Right, it's on YouTube. I need to find this tomorrow. I'm not going to pack any books up. I need to watch the Muppets.
I see. He's going to be touring John LeMazure's house, visiting the Eagle Bookshop. Was it John LeMazure or the other one?
Yeah, I might get one box done, because there's stuff to do, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, no, I'm a big. The Wait, just a little sidetrack there because Stephanie's talking about it. The Wait is one of the most covered songs in my band. We've done it tons and tons of times. It's one of the songs we're known for. So I don't know if you know, Mark. It's the one that goes, "Take a load off Annie, take a load for free." That one. We've done it loads of times. People requested it and all that stuff because we've got a band with 3 singers in it or 4 singers in it. It kind of works well.
Can I request a song?
Go on.
Mana.
We've got a when we do Stray Cat Strut, and I think there are versions on YouTube of us doing Stray Cat Strut. We put loads of other songs in it, and we have put Mana in it in Stray Cat Strut, and we put all sorts of things. Yeah,
you'd remember this, Gareth. I think it's before you moved to the UK, though you might have seen it. Sean, was The Office with the original BBC series?
Yeah.
And did you see the episode where it starts at the beginning when he walks in and obviously they're filming? He goes, sorry. That's the way he does it. Like with Brent, he's like, minute, and he does it, and then he like disappears into his office, and then when he comes back out, just like minute. I just see it. I always think of that, and then obviously his dancing, just his face, Ricky Gervais's face when he does that. It's just so
yeah. He was so good at doing that character.
It was excellent. It really was.
Yeah.
I never saw the American version. I have no idea, but
it's just different because it is good, but it's just different. I couldn't latch onto it as much, but it is good, and I think it's more popular in general.
Well, I mean, they did like 100 seasons of it. I mean,
yeah. And then the first 2 episodes, I think, are exactly the same. The jokes are the same as the first ones, and then clearly just went on and did other things. But yeah, I do prefer myself. I prefer the original series. One of my good friends, actually, who started off, she's a friend now, but she started off just as a Bemis fan, is one of the cast of the original Office. So that's quite cool. So, and it's really funny. We had a lovely moment where one of the guys that used to be in the band, he was the bass player for a while. He was a massive fan of The Office, and he didn't click that our friend was from The Office. And we were playing, and she was quite close to us. And then I said something about Pointless, the show Pointless, which is like a quiz show over here, and it's about rewarding people for obscure answers. And she just said, "Oh, I'm a pointless answer as well on one of those shows." And then Mike, the guy, just suddenly clicked, and he just suddenly went, "Oh my god!" And he just went crazy just about that she was there. And it's just really funny. It was like, "You're right, mate." And yeah, it was just a lovely moment.
Well, I guess is The Office what's called a mockumentary, I guess. Yeah. See, I never liked it, but there's 2 mockumentaries I really like. It's People Like Us, and This Is David Lander.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention Spinal Tap, which is
but like series wise.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, films. I like was it Best in Show, and then there was that one. It was the same people, but about the beauty pageants. It had Ellen Barkin in it. It was quite funny. Drop Dead Gorgeous
as well.
Drop Dead Gorgeous.
Yeah, awesome. Oh yeah, Al says. I must probably when I said Sleep When I'm Dead. Yeah. Al's mentioned Warren Zevon. That's another. I can make another reference to the band because most of our shows end with Wells of London.
But they had it was a great time because they had The Office, and then the other one I really loved, which was around the same time, was Phoenix Nights.
Yeah.
And they did this.
Oh, I know who he is.
They did the Stars. Was it Stars in Their Eyes version? And he's singing that George Michael's song when he goes, "Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Elton John," and he's sitting in his wheelchair and he's got massive glasses on, and it was just so fun. My father literally just couldn't breathe. He went purple face. We just laughed so much. My God.
Yeah. He's very funny guy.
He couldn't do that now. He couldn't, of course, be in a wheelchair.
Yeah, because some of the jokes are about him being in a wheelchair, aren't they?
Yeah, because they call him Iron. They call him Ironside all the time. But they would do terrible things.
We're in the wrong part of this conversation. Is that about? I don't know what's that about. Do you remember what it's about? No. We need to. Trouble in it. It's hard, isn't it, when you do it out of sync?
Yeah.
Randy says, "I totally forgot about the penis collector." Yeah, Mark, the penis collector.
He's genital. Yeah,
he likes his penises, doesn't he?
I'm just thinking, I don't know. It's terrible when you think of these things because they all come flooding back, and all I can think now is I don't know what's the right word. Dwarfs? No, small people. What do you?
Are you telling us you particularly like dwarfs' penises?
No, in Phoenix Nights when they come out of the van and they're chanting the football song, and the 2 dwarfs go, "Bloody hell! How far away are they?" It's terrible. Oh my God. Yeah.
But I think you can see dwarfs.
That's not brilliant. It's terrible.
Brilliant. Yeah. Oh, MJ says hi.
Hi, MJ.
And then there's people saying hi to MJ, which is cool. Sean should know the band. They're from Toronto.
The band, yeah. That's That's the backup.
Yeah, Bob Dylan's backing band. Yeah, if you haven't seen The Last Waltz, it's the most amazing film. Definitely should see that. And we're as bad as Threads. I just want to read, but can't because we can't put the phone down. Well, yeah, we are taking you away from your books. Don't read. Don't read. Well, we're not reading, are we? So,
No.
yeah, if we're not reading, you can't read.
You'll be reading later, though, won't you? You'll be doing an Eric and Ernie in bed next to each other.
Yeah.
I'll read you a little story, Sean.
Oiled up, obviously.
I have to be very delusional to think that he's Louise Brooks. So no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, yeah. He gave me this weird wig. I was like, Sean, I can't wear that, mate. I don't know what you want me to wear this for. It's not happening. Zap said, "What's my name?" So it's Bemis, which is Bemis. Check it out.
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's named after Henry Bemis, and my son formed a band, and he called it Henry, which is lovely. He's all right with it. Yeah. And then Brandy says hello. So MJ. Oh. See, look, I'm touching Sean's thing here.
Oh my God. Just make sure you wash your hands afterwards.
He said, you do it. Stephanie, I can't put Threads down either. And then Threads. This is a new social media thing, isn't it? Are they combining the social media platforms together? Is it?
What the hell is that? Have I got a massive freaking moth just flown in?
Oh,
You see it behind me, like something massive, quite big. Because I got the windows open because it's bloody boiling.
that's your shadow.
Either that or bats come in.
Yeah.
No, it's a Instagram competition or Zuckerberg competition with Twitter. Yeah, he's trying to.
Okay.
He's trying to take them down unless Stephanie can get to it.
Well, they were going to have some fight, weren't they?
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
Talk about comparing penis size, isn't it? It's ridiculous. And then obviously once I have compared penis size, Mark want to collect it. And MJ says,
got a couple of jars ready.
yeah, the new Meta app to replace Twitter, book people showing up in droves. It's nice for now. Yeah, well, you're not doing very well at putting your social media apps down, though, MJ. Remember, so you've got to.
Although I have to say, I haven't noticed MJ follow me on it yet. So.
Jenny says, "I'm afraid to get Threads, considering how long I spent on TikTok. So much fun. I tried TikTok, and it was a nightmare. TikTok's crazy.
See, Stephanie's on a mission. She's going to take it down single-handed.
Yeah, go for it. This is awesome. Well, maybe you could go into a ring with Zuckerberg and Musk." MJ, what Canva did?
Convo.
I can't sleep with him very well. What Canva did I?
What conversation? Convo.
Oh yeah. I said Canva. That's an app as well. What Canva did I jump in on? Yeah, I know this is just a disgusting conversation. I'm really innocent in this. It's these two. They're terrible.
Well, grandpas, I'm off to bed.
Are you seriously going?
Yeah, I'm knackered. I have to go. I'm going to fall asleep. And I've got to chase down this one.
Well, you got to wait till we get to the end of the comments.
All right.
And then I'll let you go.
Thanks. Because I know you two are the ones who want to be alone, probably.
Well, yeah, we've got loads to do. We all got that bottle of... No, I'm not going to go down there. So Stephanie says... talking about naughty things, as always. Yeah, Sean. Sean's not actually said it.
Yeah, I haven't said it.
Well, not from your mouth, anyway.
Oh, Jenny's reading one of my favorite books. I hope you're enjoying it. Treasure
There we go.
Island.
Men's. So what month does that come in? Is that which one's the men's adventure month?
That's August of Adventure.
August Adventures. Got there early. J. Scott Phillips. Thanks for tagging me in your last tag. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the June on the Range one. And I haven't done it yet because I haven't got around to it. But
can you do an American accent, Gareth?
Yep. That was good.
Very cold in them there hills.
I can't do it. No, I can't do accents. I'm terrible for accents.
I can sometimes do some, but I can't. It's difficult.
Can you do an English accent? Because you've got a.
I used to occasionally, but now I can't with COVID brain. It's like it comes out like if I try to do it, it'll probably be a Chinese accent because my brain will say it's English, but my tongue will bring out Chinese accent or something.
If you do an English accent that comes out of Chinese, that'd be amazing.
I'm fine with that, Sean. Give it a go.
That reminds me, I was going to try and find a Chinese around here, but it's 25 to 12, so I'm not going to find a Chinese now, am I? Never mind.
Rain falls mainly on the plain.
Yeah, you got a really good English accent.
Well, you've been to public.
Mark's trying to impress us with his English accent.
Yeah, well,
it's not going to impress us, is it, Mark? You were born in England.
Very.
Did you watch Andrew from It Came From the Page do impressions of Ollie?
No.
It's amazing. It's one of the worst English accents you've ever heard.
I have to say, it is one of those. It's a Dick Van Dyke, is it?
It's just weird.
It's a Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins, is it?
I think Dick Van Dyke's more accurate.
Really?
It's a fantastic video. It's really funny. It's a Dr. Seuss type thing about Garb August. It's brilliant. But one of the really weird things is when he does Ollie's voice. It's brilliant. But yeah, I'm not very good at accents, so I'm not going to go down that road. Spamley says, I am the most cultured person in the chat. I'm looking at the world's largest can of spam tastefully placed in the spammer lair. You have no idea how hard it was to fit in the door. Wow, that's a big can of spam.
That sort of reminds me of Roger Daltrey on cover of The Who. He's sitting in a bath of beans, and he's holding a huge can of Heinz beans.
Yeah. And that's also what you just said reminds me of Magical Trevor. Did we talk about Magical Trevor before, Mark? This rings a bell.
Yeah, the name rings a bell. I can't remember.
He goes to a land of beans, lots of beans. It's a great little thing that happened on the internet about 20 years ago. Yeah, you remember that?
I remember that.
Jenny thinks she wants us to have an OnlyFans account. What, just us two together? Okay, we'll sort it out.
Zap's, you got an emergency message there from Zap. Happy House Chinese at 96 Broman Road closes at 11:45.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you got.
Wow,
you got 10 minutes.
You've sped ahead. That's brilliant. Oh, well, it's because you're reading the actual chat. I'm not even reading that. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's lots of people going, hi, Scotty. Hi, Brandy. So MJ said, I'm going in. What does that mean? I'm going in.
Maybe to my
yeah, to your threads. Going into your threads.
We'll soon see, won't we?
They thought you were going. Look, they didn't realise I was going to force you to stay. Look, they're all saying good night.
Do we know MJ's real name as well? Is she like Mary Jane?
It's actually Mark. It's Mark.
Mark.
Yeah.
Because I'm MJ. I am actually MJ too. Because I'm Mark Jonathan.
So I need to. So yeah, the Chinese. This is cool.
They're just trying.
Mind you, they're not going to serve 5 minutes before they shut anyway, are they?
Yeah, they will. Trust me.
No, they won't. They'll go. Sod off this strange man from Portsmouth.
After COVID, they can't turn away the business. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, go on then."
Yeah, this is lots of people that are trying to offer me support for not having my Chinese food.
Trying to see
Mark gets into cat suit. I'll subscribe. There you go. Brandy wants you in a cat suit as soon as possible, Mark. If you can do that tomorrow, that'd be great.
If it was a dog, I might be tempted.
A dog suit?
Well, I prefer them.
You never get dog suits, do you?
Sorry,
Cat
Brandy.
suits. Mind you, yeah, that sounds a bit weird anyway. Stephanie says, don't give them ideas. Here we go. MJ confirms it's Mary Jane. We got to the end. I might have skipped a few, but we have just got to the end of the chat. How long is this thing? Hey,
Hour and a half.
I think I've taken over your thing.
Oh,
I think you should continue the live while you order a Chinese, and then we can all see if you actually get it in time.
Well, and eat it in front of the. So it says there's a new fetish for anyone that wants to see booktubers eating Chinese food. Get some noodles. Yeah. New. Do you want to? No, we're not going to do that. They're not going to give me food 4 minutes before they close. It's not going to happen.
I bet
it's a lovely system. I appreciate people.
I totally bet you.
I tell you what. Well, Sean's been asking for people to come down and help him pack. If anyone wants to come down and give me some Chinese food, that'll be awesome.
Right, I'm off to bed, but I'll watch you when I get to the other room. Bye-bye. Night, everyone. Cheerio.
See you later. Oh, wow. Aaron wonders if MJ's a fairy. You know the fairies? People, yeah. And Jenny wants you specifically to do an ASMR channel.
ASMR. Why? I could put a microphone to my when my COVID gut is making noises. Would that work?
It's quite something. If it hasn't popped through the speakers, it was really entertaining. It was almost like music. It was a beautiful thing. Brandy says, not a fairy, but I know a couple. What, a specific couple? A couple that my neighbours that dress up as animals. I like that idea. Spaminate says, Jenny is now my semi-evil sidekick. She gets it. And then we're going to crash a fairy convention, steal their suits, and I suppose enjoy the convention. Yeah.
Are there fairy conventions?
Yeah, there are fairy conventions. There are people that dress up as animals because they want to be animals.
Okay.
And
isn't it? Yeah, there is something. There is something like that. It's almost like a religion, isn't it? That people think that they're some mystical creature or something. Or...
I thought it was a sexual thing. Is it not a sexual thing?
Oh, I don't know. Probably a mix of everything.
MJ says her book is starting to look really good. Fairies. Is your book really fairy? Is that what you're saying? He's off again. And then Zap says they say the best Chinese in Bedford. Oh, so that's I've missed my chance.
What's the name of it? I don't think I've heard that one. I've never actually ordered Chinese.
You never ordered Chinese?
No, I've only went to sort of all you can eat things, but that's 4 years now, so 5 years since I've been to one.
Oh, I love getting a Chinese. It's very nice food. Like I prefer that to an Indian, but I do have an Indian sometimes. Jenny says I am a Scorpio, and we're known for being vindictive. So watch out. Spaminator, maybe? I can't remember. What's he referring to?
Yes.
This is Spaminator. They're locked. They've locked horns. Evil sidekick Jenny. They're not locked horns against each other, against everybody else. So there we go.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a tangent. Oh, hold on. Jenny says MJ's trying to stay innocent. Give in to the dark side. We have cookies. I bought biscuits for my visit here as well. Big Al does booktube. Hello, mate. Love a Chinese, but Indian is God's food. There we go. So he prefers an Indian. What Indian do you get? I always get a dansak. Did you like the dansak? Quite sweet. It's quite strong, but it's quite sweet. So korma, I think it's not strong enough and sweet. But dansak is my favorite. What do you get, Big Al? Do you get a madras or a jalfrezi, or I don't know? Or do you get a vindaloo and stay on the toilet all day next day?
Well, like I said before, anything that's hot now just tastes sweet. So
Yeah,
I can't taste the spices. It's just sweetness.
yeah. Here we go. Oh no, it's
It's
not.
not a mosquito.
Is that? Is it? Is it? Oh wow.
It was.
Aaron says that explains the spate of letter bombs in Scotland recently. Dan Sack, yes, Big Al agrees with the Dan Sack. It's such a great meal. I love the Dan Sack. And then Mark says, I better like a bit of Dan Sack. Yeah, I'll have a bit of that as well. He's still being filthy, even though he's not on screen. It's not. It just disappears, doesn't it? Jenny says, I deny everything. There's a kebab place. I can go for that. That's going to stay open. Was it Friday, isn't it? That'll stay open for a while, won't it?
Yeah, there's a lot actually up
yeah
around the corner.
Yeah, I can do that. I can eat. So I'll probably get an egg burger. Get an egg burger from the kebab place. Sean the Buddhist. I think Mark's probably having a meltdown. MJ says, go to sleep, Mark. So MJ's been training to be a hypnotist. Have you noticed that? Yeah, she's starting on Mark, and then she wants to kind of develop into a full act later as she gets better at it. But she's starting with Mark first. If Mark doesn't say anything for the next little while, then she's really developing the hypnotist thing really well. Let's see how it goes.
Well, I think we could call it a day or a night, I should say.
Yeah, and we'll leave it with the killing the mosquito.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Probably see you tomorrow, or at least with some videos or something, potentially. We'll leave it on that.
What's this? You are always all getting sleepy. There we go. Yeah, she's really going for it.
Night, everybody. This takes a little while to